Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be picking up where we left off on the last video. If you guys missed it, I replaced the thermostat on this video. I'm going to link it up somewhere up there, so if you guys are interested, go ahead and check it out. But today I'm going to show you how to replace that front radiator for this 3.5 C300. All right, first thing is first, go ahead and drain your coolant. I already drained my coolant on the last video, so we don't have to worry about that step. So once you undo the petcock underneath, you're good to go. There used to be a clip here. It's gone, it's lost. The owner hit this front end so many times, so this should just be able to come up. $10 mil. We're gonna remove actually these two bolts from here. T30. Next, you got the 10 mil bolts. 1, 2, 3 on the side. 4, 5, and 6 bolts. Carefully take this brace. You do have your radiator bushings here, so your cable, hood cable is going to run underneath, so just take that off carefully. And it's off. Let me give you a closer look what's going on here. Go ahead and take your hoses off. I already took the clamp off. Pull this one out. Take that hose out. You're going to need a 90-degree pick so you can pull down on that spring. And then you have another hose down there and then your transmission lines, which you have to peel back this plastic thing here. Peel it back. And then there is a spring, or a clip, sorry, in between this groove. You also have to use a pick to carefully open that clip up, and you have to be careful not to lose that clip. And then obviously we have our hose removed already since we were servicing the thermostat. That one's out the way. And then there's also a big connector that connects the electric fan. That's right underneath, right there. We're on the left side. Put that to the side. Move your cable, go underneath. You have this one undone. Use a pick. Be careful not to lose this spring. I already pulled it up slightly. And you can wiggle this line off. You can catch it, even better. This is this clip I'm telling you about. Do not lose this. There we go. Just gonna keep that in there till I'm ready to pull everything out. So also I'm gonna do the one at the bottom. There's a second cooler line at the bottom. Let's go ahead and pull off the fan shroud, the electric fan, and these are slipped into slots. 1, 2, and then at the bottom also. I broke these off just because the radiator will be getting replaced. So boom, it's just gonna come off. Don't forget to undo the electrical connector for the fan, which you just squeeze and pull down. There you go. Also, before you release this, you just can't pull it up. At the bottom, there's 2 tabs that you have to squeeze as well. Let me show you. All right, we're underneath the car, and these are the tabs that I'm telling you about. 1 and 2. Push these, and they should release the fan shroud. Already loose, you see. Once you have your tabs, obviously, slowly and carefully bring this up. Also did forget to mention at the bottom left side, there is a 10 mil you have to undo as well to get that cooler line bracket off. So don't forget to do that. Let me take you closer. Now this is the radiator part. We have a I think they call this coolant water temperature sensor. It senses the temperature inside the radiator, and it tells the electric fan kick on or don't kick on. So this sensor is very, very sensitive. There are 2 tabs that go into these slots. As you see, mine broke. These plastic parts are very brittle with heat, and the heat cycles, you're not going to be able to take this off cleanly without breaking. So luckily they do sell an adhesive that you can put on the sides. It's sensor safe. We'll be using that today, or you can also buy a new one. I think a new one's like $140 to like 150. So if you want to do that, you can also replace this. So we'll just be putting this to the side. Now, to separate the actual radiator from the cooler, there's 2 pieces here, 1 and 2. Go ahead and take your grill off. Peel this plastic off. On both sides, there are tabs where you'll be able to separate the actual radiator and the cooler. So you'll just pinch these out, and the radiator should come loose. And this will be from both sides. All right, we're gonna go underneath the car again. So this is gonna be inside the radiator. That's why when you try to pulling it up, it's not budging. So this is actually inserted inside. Grab yourself some needle nose pliers, squeeze these together, and then push out on both sides. That's gonna be able to release just the radiator. Try not to tilt this forward, otherwise all that transmission fluid is going to be all over your floor. So alright, after trying to wrestle this radiator out for hours, I was finally able, I was able to grab this. It's a little tricky to get this thing out of here. I'll show you the process once I get this thing out of here. There's a few things holding it down. Of course, a stupid wire that runs across for the hood release. There we go. Finally. Let me take you closer of what I did. This radiator was very, very tricky to get out. It just would not come out because it's so big and bulky. So I even went to the MB workshop to see how they actually take this off. And it only says be careful with the power steering lines, where you're going to get jammed up right here. And you only have a little bit of play, so you have to kind of move this and play with the power steering cooler at the same time to try to be able to budget out. But this is the side where it's going to give you a lot of trouble. And it's this power steering hose on the way, so it's very hard to get out. It took me about an hour and a half to play around with this. As you see, it's out now. We're gonna go ahead and put the new one, which is right here. We went with FCP Euro. They sell a kit. One more detail I forgot to leave out was on the old one, there's this nipple that goes on there. Obviously, you have to pry this clip up and just take this one out because the new one does not come with it. So here it is. You just have that. Pop the clip up. Sorry. Pop the clip up. Obviously, there's a new O-ring that comes in the kit. Replace the O-ring and put it back in there. All right, we're going to try to put the new radiator. Just be very careful. All right, we were finally able. He said, be very careful. Before I put these two coolers together, I have to put a connector I undid from the bottom. I'm going to clip that together, and then I'm going to try to sandwich these two radiators, and then also we're going to try to make sure at the bottom we put the radiator in place where the mounts are to the frame. So yeah, now we're going to replace all the O-rings that we got. This one's for the hose that goes to the radiator, to the thermostat. Actually got two of those. Let's see what else we got in here. There's a bunch of seals in here. So we did get some radiator bushings. We're going to install those new. Two O-rings for that cooler, the cooler lines. This one, I think this one's the small one I told you about for that little nipple that goes on the left side. Let's see what else we got in here. Two O-rings. Again, one here, one over there. And then also we got the black adhesive. This one's gonna go on the sensor. We're not gonna put a lot of it just because we just want to make sure it doesn't mess with any of the readings when it comes to like measuring the temperature of the radiator. But I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna apply this and where exactly I'm gonna apply this. Okay. All right. Let me take you down here. We got our nozzle ready. We're gonna put one here, one in the middle, and one in the corner. Okay. Focus and one dab there. Alrighty. I'm gonna grab my sensor. Carefully put it in the hole. This thing don't even fit in there. Let me show you what I've been doing for the past 30 minutes. I was trying to put that sensor back in place, and it does go into that little hole. There's two holes, so it goes here, then the two tabs lock in place there. It was just not going in. I believe the rod on the sensor was just too thick, and the hole on the casting is just too small for the sensor. So I jammed it in there, was playing with it, and then when I was trying to pull out, it rod just broke off. So I do have the sensor here. I'm gonna have to order a new one, which I already placed an order. And this brand here, Nissan's, I hate this brand. Really, it's not the first time this happens, but there's always issue with the products. Their aftermarket parts are always not up to spec. There's always something going on. But now I'm forced to buy a new sensor. and then also the rod broke in there. So it, I've been trying to take that plastic bits off carefully. This is an aluminum radiator, so you have to be very careful. Otherwise, you're gonna break something. You're gonna cause a leak, and you know, with FCP Euro, when you try to return something, they're not gonna refund you. They're gonna make you want to buy another kit. They'll give you supposedly store credit, and then everything gets lost there. So I'm gonna order these sensors, and then we'll go from there. All right, we are back. Here is the old sensor that broke off. This is a new sensor. And here are the tabs I was talking to you about. These tabs tend to break off once obviously this sensor gets heated up all the time. So with the heat, this is going to become brittle and snap off when you're trying to taking it off. So transfer over the little bracket here. Let's try to put this in there. Hopefully it fits. All right, we were able to put the sensor back on, but I'm not too happy because it's not flush sitting leveled. And again, this is an aftermarket radiator, so I don't want to mess and press down on this too hard. I don't want to break the sensor, and I don't want to buy another one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the clip in here and start putting everything back together. All right, we got the electric fan on. Make sure they're on the tabs. There we go. Slipped in there. Don't forget to connect the connection for the electric fan. There you go. Everything looks fine. Now I'm gonna go ahead and connect these hoses in there. All right, we have all our hoses connected, thermostat to radiator, the other radiator hose, reservoir hose. Make sure those cooler lines, there's a plastic cap on it. Make sure it's fully seated, otherwise you're gonna have a leak. So make sure those both plastics on both cooler lines are seated all the way through. Gonna replace the bushings. Make sure to tuck in your wire, the hood wire, under the support beam. All right, now I'm gonna put the throttle body back. All these pieces I took off when I was doing the thermostat. and then we'll fill her up. Let's go ahead and pour in the G48 50/50 mix. We have the coolant topped off. I'm gonna go ahead and open the garage real quick, start this bad boy up, and start the bleeding procedure for this. Hopefully we don't have any leaks, but I double checked my work, so we shouldn't have any leaks. All right, so we have the vehicle on. Let's set it to the highest setting. Blower at the highest setting. It's been idling about a couple minutes now. Usually I like to rev it up to 2,000 RPMs. 2.5, hold it, and let go. And then I'm gonna repeat this again every other minute. And that's how we're gonna bleed the system. You'll notice once your heat starts blowing super hot, but we have not reached the temperatures yet. Alright guys, after a good 35, maybe 40 minutes, I've been here waiting for this thing to get hot. The thermostat finally opened up. We are at 185. I went out there, I did touch the hoses. They're hot now, both of them. So that means that's good. And it's very hot in here. So just keep playing with it. Keep waiting. You'll get it. Once your heat is restored, you're good to go. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. So that's how you replace the radiator on a 2014 C300. This one here is a 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and put these beauty covers back on. Put that cover, the one at the bottom. I also did inspect for leaks. We have no leaks, so that's good news. With that being said, if you guys found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.